Hi, you're listening to Boggy Talk, Faith Conversations in the Mud, a resource of Church on Bayshore.
Hello, thanks for joining us today on Boggy Talk. We're still in our Meet a New Staff Member series. Not really a new member.
Just like show and tell.
Yes.
That's right, show and tell.
That's right. Who do we bring today?
Yes. So,
Career day, right?
Career day.
That's great.
Well, today we have Emily Lewis with us.
Hello.
Super excited about that. So, Emily, you're kind of the thought, the voice, the brains behind a lot of things that happen at Church on Bayshore. And so we just want to take the time to introduce you to everybody and get to know you a little bit more. So tell us about your family and how you ended up at Church on Bayshore.
Yes. So we moved to Niceville, my husband Corey and I, in 2019. We have twin boys, Carter and Finn.
And they're so cute.
Yeah.
They're
For a little while, they were like our office mascots.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
They're in elementary school now, so they don't get to come around as much.
Yes.
But
Sad. And we actually started at B School. And Aaron Lee invited us to church and kept inviting us to church. And we came, and that was it.
Oh, I didn't know that about Erin. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
Aaron
exciting.
Lee is awesome.
Aaron Lee
She is awesome.
She is. So you started coming to church here,
Yes.
and then how did you end up on staff?
Probably about 6 months later-ish, they were hiring for a part-time communications assistant, and my boys were in school, and I was like, I think I'm ready to work again.
Yeah.
And so
And you have a background in that.
I do, yes. My degree is in public relations, so
That's awesome.
yeah.
Well, so this episode specifically, you're on the communications team, and
Yes.
so part of that, we have all kinds of communications that go out throughout the church. Part of that is social media.
Yes.
It's a big part of it.
Yes.
So today, that's going to be our main focus, social media in the church. So let's talk about that.
But first, can we just pause and be like, I'm so glad we have a communications team.
Yes, and that it's not
Yes.
just you
Yeah.
having to do it all.
Yeah, and then, this is like dream come true. It used to just be like random, like, I just figured this out, and then you came, and it was like, Emily, I need to
Yes.
help with all this stuff, and then we've grown.
And it was
it's
still
just,
a lot of, you were still doing a lot of stuff.
Yes, this is great. And you guys are a great team. And then
Yeah.
Josh does video
great.
stuff, so it is great.
It has
Emily
evolved
is
beautifully.
wonderful. I love Emily. She's such a gift to us.
We need to do like a Bayshore in 2015 and Bayshore in 2025, like media comparison.
Oh, we
sometimes.
should have.
Well,
yeah.
if you
fun.
go to our Facebook page, we've not deleted some stuff
Yes,
from
go
like
back.
Okay.
it is you just have a little stroll down memory lane and be like, wow.
Like, you'll be like, this is 2005? No,
that was
95. No, it's 2015.
Look how far we've come.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and things change so much.
Yes.
So social media back then maybe wasn't a huge piece of church, but how is it now? Like, why do we even have that platform?
I think even when I started, it was mostly like promoting events and sharing what's going on, keeping people aware of what's happening here. But I think as we've grown and have more on our team to help us be creative and do more things, it's storytelling, it's still what's going on, but sharing how we're growing and impacting our community and the nations and helping people believe, belong, become.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I know that we've talked about this before with social media. You just alluded to it, that a lot of times in the past it's been very much information, giving information. And you've helped bring like the inspiration piece too. Like we want to see those things, people believe, belong, become. And so connecting that it's a tool that you can use that for sure. So what benefits have you seen with having social media and just kind of growing it over the last few years?
I think it helps people who are new. It's being used more as like a search engine.
Yeah.
And so you're searching churches. And similar to how we live stream services on Sunday, it's what's going on at this church? What are the people like? What are they doing? Can they laugh at themselves and not take life so seriously?
No.
But still,
No, we will not laugh at ourselves.
but still be really strong in teaching from the Bible.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important.
Yeah, we've had some great laughs, I think,
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah.
we
You guys are great sports.
just tell us what to do, how to make fools of ourselves. Yeah, I
It's
think
not hard for Justin and I to make fools
like
of
whatever.
ourselves.
Just right.
Great
Sometimes very
sports.
Listen,
unintentionally.
the awkward hug thing is,
That was hilarious.
is number one on the
yeah,
list.
that's just funny.
They
And
are
you guys
actually.
just had the,
Throwing water on
they
it.
just
was
had
great.
that clip on Bayshore Barstool. If you
Oh.
saw that.
Yes.
I was
You
like,
guys.
oh
Yes,
god.
that was
That's
great.
great. What you just said is a really good point, because I think it took churches a little while to understand that the front door of the church was no longer the campus, that it was the website for a while. It used to be the website was your front door, and now we've seen that push further to social media. It really is, especially for, I would say, people 40 and under. It is the first impression of a church. It is the front door, besides the people of the church and the community. And so it's a vital piece. And you said it well. Like we've shifted from just getting information out. Like it used to be like post this event, and that's not even how social media works anyway anymore with the algorithms that we're trying to chase down the algorithm, figure out how is it working. But it's about story, and I think that is even reflective of this generation, like people in their 20s and 30s, and how they connect more to story. And so
And authenticity.
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that you guys mentioned that it's the first look. People want to kind of see, well, what's the vibe like? What's the culture like here? And you can see a lot, just from even some of those posts and stuff. It says a lot about things. So did you have anything you wanted to add to that part of it?
No, I got a comment here, but it'll change gears, so I'll let you keep going.
All right. So
I mean, besides the fact that social media is of the devil, but
Yes.
you guys keep it
Yes.
going.
That's in our notes.
Oh, okay.
of the devil.
I missed that part.
It
That
can
it's in
be.
our notes. Wait, like really?
More the sentiment, like
okay, yeah.
As a
Go ahead.
joke.
As a joke.
As a
like,
joke, yeah.
Yeah, as a joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked about benefits, that it's able to reach out to new people, to give a first impression, to let people see the authenticity of a church. What about some of the limitations that we have with social media?
I think a big limitation is joking too much, like not having why we're doing it.
Right.
What is the point? And yes, you can have a lot of engagement and be so funny, but like, what's the point?
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I think that does segue into what I was going to say. I think something I appreciate about our social media is that it is very accurate as to who we are. I do notice that a lot of churches are putting on a front. I don't know if you still say it like that, but like that's how they said it back when I grew up. But like
They're putting on the
they're
Ritz.
fronting-
That's
they're
an even that's an even older way to say it.
That's what Mel Nagel said when he
Are
used
we
to do-
using this right?
when he used to do MySpace. But anyway, did the church have a MySpace? I doubt it. Anyway, they didn't have they didn't have a website.
They didn't have the internet.
They didn't have it here in Niceville at that time. But yeah, I do think that a lot of churches like put on a front, and they're trying to be something they're not.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're necessarily intentionally doing that. They like desire to be that. And I think that can really, that's dangerous. And I also think that it's dangerous to the congregation because you're really discipling, like we are discipling people by saying this is who we are and we're going to be real about who we are. And a lot of people on social media need to learn, like, stop trying to project an image that you're not.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I do think there's even, and I know like people aren't necessarily looking at our social media and thinking, oh, this is discipling me to be who I am. But like,
But it
I
is.
do think as church leaders, but also as the church, I think that's incredibly important. So I think with what you're saying, like, I think that sometimes churches are just trying to be like, I don't know. And then they're not actually giving any substance.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like the music conversation, like churches are like, we need our music to be super engaging. It's like, if people are coming just for the music to be engaging, they're going to go listen to, something else. Like, I'm not going to say any artist because you are going to know who I listen to and judge me. But like, same with social media funniness. Like, there's
Yeah.
a lot more funny stuff than what we do. Not that what we do isn't funny, but like if you're scrolling for laughs,
you're
you're not like, what is Churchill
You're
baseball?
gonna follow
game?"
comedian. You're gonna follow. Yeah, exactly.
Right, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But it's a result of the connection you have. Like,
Right.
And I think that that's a good point, that, there is this constant balance in everything that we do. But especially with that you like social media is a search engine for entertainment more. There is kind of that move that's starting to happen. And so that you're making sure that you're keeping with your purpose and, you know, God's mission in that, and that, you could still have fun and do these things, but that there is a purpose to the post. Like, why are we saying this? Well, we're trying to encourage people, to invite people to church. We're trying to, and so it takes creativity. So we're thankful for people like you that bring that to the table, for sure. And so I guess maybe some other things that are kind of difficult about it, just social media, is it the true person? Because people hide behind it. So what do you think are some other disadvantages as far as how people comment or anything like that?
Oh, we get some wild comments randomly
I
sometimes,
think
right?
people, and not just us, but social media in general, people have a lot more bravery hiding behind a keyboard than they do if they were to come and say it to your face.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And they just feel free to just type away.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, there's not a person behind that phone or that computer reading all of this and internalizing it. And
Yeah, it's a good
think
point.
they can say it.
Yes, our social media is not powered by AI. There's a human on the other side, like answering the requests. And, people like comment like, why isn't this food truck at Fall Festival this year? You're like, dude, like, go eat there somewhere else. Like,
We'll
but
take
you
your
can't say that.
suggestion.
You're representing the church. So, we always are like, how do we respond to this?
He's been holding on to that one for 7
He
months.
has.
There's sometimes you're like, seriously? Like,
What people say.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
People have commented some wild stuff. You're like, why? I don't
It's
understand.
true. And they just have,
It
they're
is
very
wild.
brave. They're very brave.
They are. They're very
Like you
brave
said,
behind a
for sure.
keyboard.
Yeah. And also you can't read tone too. So
Yeah.
sometimes like we on our end can read people's tone even if they're just asking you a question. They're like, and we receive it because this is just part of our natural human defensiveness. We've worked hard on something or we've thought through something and then someone asks a question and we're like, it's right there. The information's
So
right.
true.
Just click read more. And then you're like, and then you have you could just respond passive
Snark.
aggressively like,
Snark.
Yeah.
if you read the above post, you would see, hey, grace. We
Yes,
communicate
grace.
with lots of grace.
Lots of grace.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's very true. So in that same tone of balancing things, we have, that you had mentioned it broadens community. You can bring new people in. But I think a disadvantage also is that people think they're connected when they're actually not.
Yeah.
Not a
And so
deep
they're
connection.
more isolated.
Yeah.
And so making sure that this is not who we are. Social
Yeah.
media platform, is just a window to that. And so making
Yeah.
sure that we're
Yeah.
connecting them back here to the physical
That's good.
body of the church too. So how do you see, this is kind of an extension of this, but social media serving the church and ultimately the gospel, spreading the gospel? And
I think how we're wanting to move more telling stories and people's stories, their walk with God, and how they deal with maybe the death of a parent or a sibling or a friend, and use their relationship with God to build them up rather than staying down, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
But
so celebrating,
yes,
the good
celebrating
times,
their
showing
walk
how-
with God, and how God's impacted their life. And
Yeah.
somebody who isn't coming to church can say, wow, look at this, look at how God has helped them. And maybe that gets them in the door.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think you think like old school, simple, like in the congregation, there are people who have powerful stories. The leadership of the church can bring them on the platform, and that gives them the platform to share that and for other people to be encouraged by it. This is a new way of it's a new platform. You know?
Yeah.
It's us saying, hey, we know these stories exist. How can we platform those stories? Again, you have to be careful because the platform's dangerous. You do. I do think, just kind of side note, like I'm not really involved in this. I actually think I do have a lot of very good ideas about social media. But it affects my soul. Like, I think because sometimes the pastor's identity is so connected to the church, like I just am careful. I just don't want to be the one who's like, man, what I said was good. We should share that. You know, because I feel like there's a pride there, even though there are probably things God uses me to say that like we share in reels and stuff like that. But just, I mean, you probably even sensed like, I'm like, whatever you think, Emily, like, you know, because I just don't want, I don't want to lose my soul in that, even though I recognize it's valuable. So I think there's like a danger in the platform even like, and so we as leaders, church leaders, and we're all involved in that, like even protecting our congregation as we try to celebrate those stories. Right. But
not become prideful. Yeah.
To my original point is I do think it is an opportunity to reveal things to people and to people in our community that are powerful that maybe not a lot of people know about.
Yeah, I think it's reflective of the desire to tell the story of the gospel and the church. And I think, you know, and you recognize this as a lead pastor and typically in leadership, when you are, the more responsibility you have an oversight of an organization, the more like the good things happen. People give you credit for things like, and I don't mean like you, like leadership that you really don't have much to do with other than like you're the leader and everyone else is doing it. And so there's this association that you have to, but that for a lot of people, like what you're talking about, that just feeds the ego and the pride. And so we got to be like, no, this is about Jesus. This is about his church. This is about his people, and keeping it focused there, you know, because people will now still come and be like, that post was hilarious. And I'm like, great. Our team did an awesome job. The team did it. You're just trying to like give the credit back to that, because like I do want people to think I'm awesome at everything, but I'm not. You know,
we're a team.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think
it takes all of us,
and it comes back to like you said, not losing your soul. I do think earlier you talked about like churches trying to portray an image, and I think that happens with churches, that happens with anybody, but it happens with pastors especially. Like
I know, I've seen like
I
pastors so they accidentally like use their personal account to say what, and they're like, you know, I'm Chris, I'm gonna just say Chris, I don't have anybody in mind, like, man, Pastor Chris brought a great word today, but I'm like,
yeah.
So they were gonna say that on the church's account, like, and then you know a minute later you see like, oh, they do it on the church.
It's like those reels where they post like, oh, the music's fire, and then it's the worship team behind the camera.
I'm like, that's just
I
just don't want to be that. Yeah. I get why they're doing that. I'm not saying they're evil for doing that, but like, should they? Like,
no, it is.
Should I post something on behalf of our church? Man, Pastor Jay's about a great word today. Like,
his sermon was fire,
right? Yeah.
Even making sure we have like I don't know how many accounts attached because it's all the same thing, and you're like, okay, I'm on my account. I'm going to heart this person's stuff.
Yes, we're not liking all our own stuff.
Yes. In fact, when I first came here, there were like so many people attached to the Facebook, our Facebook account, and people. It took forever for people to understand that they had to like switch back to their personal account. And I was like, Church on Bay Shore was liking everything it posted. And I was like, who is doing this? It's like, you're not logged in as the church. Stop. It just kills it.
That's funny.
Does that still to her own stuff.
We have come a long way. Accounts. We've come a long way in our social media.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, we do sometimes get ideas from other churches. So we follow a lot of other churches, actually, all around the United States. What are some things that you've seen, good and bad, like on other churches? Like, oh, boy, we will not be doing that. Or, oh, I loved that.
Yeah, some of the ways people advertise things, I sit and I'm like, interesting choice of words you use there. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, we've gotten a lot of inspiration from funny reels and I think incorporating that, but you don't want to just copy something. How can you change this and make it your own and put your own spin on it? I think photography, looking at other churches, we see like, wow, where we're lacking and what we can do better, and how impactful that can be, how pictures can tell a story.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of great ideas out there that are neat to see. Well, more coming that way as far as celebration of stories. Yes. We've talked, a lot about, I think, what have we said? The phrase, what's
celebrated is repeated.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that, to just see how that kind of unfolds, to just show the work that the Lord is doing. We have a game.
Well, hey, I have a question.
Yeah.
Who is the target for our social media? Because it's
multiple.
Is it young moms? Is it Because that's
I
who's
think
on. Who's,
it's-
you know,
yeah.
I used to say social media is a young woman's game. I think I was saying that when we were talking about like when you first came on staff. I don't know that you were doing much with our social media, but I'm like, she has a good social media game, you know, because we were following each other on Instagram or something.
Yeah.
I don't even think I had an Instagram until like 4 years ago, but like,
So it's just a late adapter.
yeah, I am.
Just kidding.
But like, who's our target?
I think it's everyone. I think it's our church, one, our community. But then I think as we expand what we're posting, even if we're posting verses or statements from your sermon, and it's not necessarily you talking, but just like a strong point you made. And a lot of our views are not people who follow us. And so it could be
People
someone,
sharing.
in California, it could be somebody in Massachusetts, like who knows? But if I can share a Bible verse with somebody who maybe wouldn't have seen it, that's great.
Yeah, the reach is wide
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's cool how.
Well,
they can-
I'll just say I think what you guys are doing, and I know there's more to the team beyond this, is working. I often meet people on Sunday, and they'll be like, "Yeah, we came here, we listened to your preaching, and you know that's how we ended up here." Because the music, you know, online, like you can't ever get a real gauge of the music online,
Right.
other
Yeah.
than like, oh, those people look relatable or cool, you know, or whatever. But like, it's pretty amazing how many times, you know, that happens. And I literally have nothing to do with that. So, and other stuff, people see other stuff, they comment and
Yeah.
are encouraged by it. And so, yeah, thank you guys for doing a good job.
Yes. Well.
Yeah. Well, before we do the game, can I just say, Emily, you have done a great job. And
Thanks.
what's cool is like you've been on staff now for right at 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember you started right after Easter.
Yes, so kind. Let me
and it
start
was-
after
yeah,
Easter.
Right, you started right after Easter, and it was like in the middle of us moving out of
Yes.
the condemned trailer offices and into the renovated 1983 kids' rooms
Yeah.
and
Nice.
Noah's Ark wallpaper
great.
border. And,
Yes, our office had
but
really great
I would say
wallpaper.
this: I remember like in your interview, you were excited and nervous, and you were, but we just definitely sense like she's got great ideas, and it's really cool now 3 years in to see like you have grown, not just spiritually, like
Yeah,
you
for
and
sure,
Corey both,
spiritually
y'all
too.
serve
That's
with kids
awesome.
in your life group. I think you are far more influential than you think you are, but you've grown in that.
I think you're giving me a little too much
No,
credit.
I think you are. Like
You
you
are.
guys just lead by example, both of you. But you have really grown in this role too, and you've grown in your confidence and your voice, and I just want to say you're doing a great job.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and I think Kelly's
Thank you.
helping.
Yes,
you guys are a great
I
team.
couldn't do it without
Yeah,
Kelly.
you guys
Yeah.
are a great team, and I enjoy our creative committee reel that we
Yes.
share on Instagram
Yes.
with Josh. We're always passing back funny ideas,
Wow,
terrible
yeah.
ideas, or hey, we should
See,
try
I
this.
have no idea. You guys just tell me. Occasionally I come up and say, hey, blah, 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 or share something with her
Yeah.
on Instagram.
A lot of what we share is cringe. We're like, we'll never do this.
Yes.
Look at how bad this is.
But no, a lot of it's like, hey, this is really cool. We should try.
Great
Yeah.
example
like
of
this.
Emily's confidence growing is probably like 2 years ago. If something didn't make sense in my sermon notes, you know, because she do you still do the bulletin, right?
Yeah.
She does the
She would have
bulletin.
been like, hey, so what did you know mean by that? Now last week she's like, hey, that was really dumb, so we just changed it. So you need to change this.
I doubt that. Yeah.
But
It was
after
terrible grammar.
I was just
whatever.
like, oh, we changed this. And I think it was Josh was like, wow, you just told them you changed it. I was like, yeah, I did.
Good
It
job.
needed to be changed.
Good.
Yeah,
I
it
mean, I
needed to
agree.
be
Yeah,
changed.
you'll be like, I just don't think that's gonna work. I think 2 years ago you'd have been like, so maybe. But I just an affirmation of what
Yeah.
you're doing
Yeah.
is great.
Emily Lewis
Thank
for
you.
Congress,
Yeah.
2036.
Yes,
Yeah.
coming to a
That's
city
our-
council
That's
near
our
you.
running joke right there.
I
She
know,
needs
it
to. She needs to be
Well, I was gonna
at least
say-
PTA president or PTO,
Yeah.
PTA, PTO. What's the
Well, that's
difference?
a lot of work.
PLA.
PLA.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
they're
a
real
lot of work.
fancy over there.
Knoxville.
What is the L? P.
I think leadership.
Leadership.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, okay.
Just got rid of the teachers.
Yeah.
Because they used to be
We
parent
don't need
teacher.
it anymore. They're
Teachers
tired.
are like, we don't want to do
They're
that.
They're
Okay.
done. Oh man. Well, I was gonna save my thank yous for the end, but
Well, sorry,
yes.
I co-opted.
I
the,
am super thankful for you. You're incredible, and your
You're
creativity
awesome.
and your voice. I mean, it really is a dream to walk into a new job and be like, "Here's this person that already knows, and they're
Yeah.
there," and all. I mean, that's been.
Well, and I remember
amazing,
even our
too,
first
so.
like meeting, and then you were like, "I want to do creative," and Kelly was like, great because
yeah.
that's my, but or like it's
Yes,
I'm
it's
not
she.
a creative.
complementary dynamic
Yes.
where
Helps
it's
a
just
lot.
good.
I am
God
not
goes
an
before
organized
us.
person
Yeah.
or a stay on task person. So
She
And
keeps
the
us that way.
planner.
she
Yeah.
keeps me. Yes.
And Emily's always like, okay.
Yeah, and then Josh comes in with these great big ideas too that we're able to like, okay, that's great, and let's figure out how to use that. You know,
Yes.
and it's a good
But
dynamic.
his costs $79,000.
I was gonna say,
He has very bougie taste.
He has big dreams, and that's good. We need the big dreams, and then we have to
Yes.
and here's our budget. So how do we keep that vision but execute on the level that we can afford? You know,
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And when you and people,
Emily's the voice of the podcast, the sermon podcast too. You know.
Yeah.
yes.
So I've had someone, a friend who listens to them, who lives in Louisiana, like wants to meet you because that's your voice. Like,
Well, hello.
recognizes it.
I don't know if she listens to Boggy Talk or not, but
That's great.
anyway,
She
yeah.
has. You have a great voice, a great radio voice, Emily. You should do it more. All right. So our game, social media. This is true, false. So I guess you guys just offer up your answers. I
Okay.
don't know.
Okay.
Everybody's a winner here. So think way back to some of these things. This is Facebook was the first social media platform ever created.
False.
False.
Yeah. What was it?
What was the first
MySpace,
one?
right? No. There was something before. Zynga? Was that before MySpace?
Zynga was
Oh,
like blog.
man.
I had a Zynga one time.
Really?
Zynga.
I've never heard
Never
of that.
heard
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. It tried.
It was a participation.
Al Gore probably had something to do with whatever it was.
6 Degrees and Friendster.
Friendster.
Don't even
Friendster.
know.
Never even heard of those.
Sounds
Okay.
sketch.
Yeah, it does.
Is it like 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon? Like that's what it's based off of. I bet.
What?
Yeah, you never heard this?
You putting
I
on
like
the Ritz and
everybody.
you-
Come on.
Everybody
That was a big
knows.
thing.
I do know the 6
Like-
degrees of Kevin Bacon thing.
Yeah, that's what it was. I bet it was based off of that.
Okay. We'll Google that for later.
I was watching a documentary called The Dark Side of the 2000s, and they were talking about TRL, how TRL was like the gateway to all this. It was interesting. yeah.
Social media.
Yeah, because like that was the first time you like could call and request and like dialogue.
Okay.
But like they were like, but all the craziness got censored, so it was actually like pure.
That's funny.
Oh, yeah, that's
comparatively.
true. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, the next one. MySpace. Were you old enough for MySpace?
Oh yeah, I was not allowed to have a MySpace, but
Did you have a
But
top
you know
friends
it.
list?
Did you
But
have
I
a
didn't
secret
have
I had a
MySpace?
secret MySpace.
Is your
Sorry,
mom going to be
Mom.
listening
Oh,
to
you
this?
had a secret MySpace. Wow.
Oh my
you
gosh.
would.
So it was the most popular social media platform before Facebook overtook it.
Yeah.
I would say true. Yeah.
True.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
True. Yeah.
I was thinking of some cringy things.
Tom.
Do you remember the top 8?
Top 8,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, you
and when
have
you got mad at somebody,
I think
they
you
weren't
could
on
pay
your
more
top
and
8
have, like,
anymore.
16
Oh,
or
really?
something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. You
Did
could
you
pay.
do that?
No. But I had like no money back then, so I was a newlywed whenever
Oh,
I had
yeah.
MySpace.
The other
Yeah.
thing I remembered was the
Chrissy was
music.
The
one.
music.
Yeah, I do kind of miss that.
yeah,
You know, the
yeah.
music integration that you could have.
So when
with
we were
MySpace.
having a kid, I changed my song to "Son of a Preacher Man"
That's funny.
without telling
Nice.
people Chrissy was pregnant.
That's
yeah,
funny.
Wow.
That's
Oh,
funny.
okay.
Little
Nobody got it.
subliminal messaging.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool. All right. Twitter's original character limit for tweets was 280 characters.
False. 140.
That's
Yeah.
yes. She ran that one by me earlier, and I was like, "No, it was 140." It's like
They
wow,
knew
you
it
knew that.
right off.
Yep.
I never had a Twitter account.
Because we're wordy
Never.
people, and so we had to delete things.
Twitter's like a man's thing,
Yeah.
more than a lady's thing.
and it's a dumpster fire now.
It was like
so
I think it was
just
really
don't
super
That's
political
why.
too.
There's not
Yeah.
That's
You
right.
never
There's
had
not enough
Twitter?
reasonable voices.
I had a Twitter.
You had a Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Elon Musk
Yeah.
took over X.
Yeah.
But he sold it to his own self.
That's
his
right.
own self.
How does that work?
That was created by AI or something.
Yes.
Oh man. Okay, TikTok was originally called musical.ly before it was rebranded.
Musical.ly?
Musical.ly.
I'm going to go with true.
I'm going to go with false.
It's true.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They
I didn't
merged.
answer because I knew. I mean, she asked me that
Oh,
one earlier.
yeah.
In
I was just- I
2018.
knew it was true.
Versus you,
Yeah,
Emily.
I knew it was true. She didn't ask me all the
2018.
questions, but that one.
I do have a TikTok, but it's Lily and I's combined TikTok.
I got banned from TikTok.
But you
I don't
can
know what I
parental-
did.
She said she
you got
wanted it,
banned
but then
from
she only
TikTok.
posted 2 things ever because
No.
Yeah. You
Well,
got
under dad.
You got banned from TikTok.
I don't know what happened.
What
I
did
think
you
I just, like,
I feel
didn't
like the
post
standards
anything.
are pretty low for TikTok. So
I know. I
What
just tried to
did
get
you
on
do?
it one time, and it was like,
Kelly.
you did not follow the blah
Yeah.
blah blah, and so then I just
Interesting.
never made a new account. I was like, huh?
You're not missing much.
Can you even get TikTok anymore?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
something
came
about
back.
China or Russia, right?
I knew they canceled it, and then it was back, and then
Yeah.
I can't keep up with it.
Yeah, it just depends on
so.
who wants to make money.
I do not look at TikTok ever.
No, I
Yeah,
don't.
I don't either. Okay,
It's a lot of people making bread,
Still have time. Like
doing
it's
crazy
just-
dances.
yeah, it's
Okay.
changed from
Yeah.
dancing to
Yeah.
all. I mean, it's like a legit search engine
Well,
Yeah.
that-
now
that's
for
their job.
teenagers.
So I mean, they just
Yeah.
sell stuff on the TikTok store.
That's true.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, that's
You
true.
sound so old.
I don't
Just
care.
said
I know.
that.
It's
called the TikTok
It's called the TikTok store.
We're gonna get on the line.
Yeah, we're gonna get on the web. Yeah.
The Walmart.
Yeah.
Oh man. The Facebook like button was part of the platform when it first launched.
No,
No, it was not.
Really?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah,
Like,
I remember when it came in.
wow.
I was like, yeah.
That was bad. That was the beginning of the end.
The other cringy thing, do you remember when you used to write about yourself?
Yeah,
In third-
third
like,
person.
that was
yeah.
how you
James
would make a
is
post.
going
What
to
is
the
yeah,
ball.
yes. What is on your mind?
Yes.
Do you ever
what's on
find your old
mind?
post that you do and
Oh,
you're
gosh.
like,
Oh my gosh.
And you remember, yeah, you're like, I'm just gonna go ahead. And
I am just so
delete
glad
this.
it didn't exist when I was a teenager.
me
In
too.
early
Yes,
20s.
exactly.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. This is
Yeah, it
Even
didn't
stuff
Yeah.
in your 30s, you're like, I'm gonna just delete that.
I'm like, who cares? Like, I read my memories, because so I don't have Facebook on my phone, but like, I'll usually check my memories after reading the Bible in the
Yeah.
morning, because there's kid stuff. And when I get to like 15 years ago, I'm like, who cares, dude? Why are you saying that?
Yeah. Why
know.
did we post this?
Yeah.
This is crazy.
It is embarrassing. All right. So, how many people worldwide do you think use social media as of 2025 in January?
Ooh,
Billions.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I'm
billions.
gonna say
Billions,
four.
what you
I'm gonna say it's definitely. I would say at least 3 billion, if not more.
How many people are in the world?
7?
Because what counts? Like, what counts as social media?
Depends on.
We count WhatsApp because
Yeah.
the
Depends on which
entire
party
continent
you
of
ask.
Asia and Africa uses WhatsApp as their primary
Democrats
means
are
of
true.
fucking-
communication. Yeah,
Tracking with that, Emily.
4 billion.
I'm gonna say 5.
I'm gonna say 4.75.
5. Good
Oh,
job.
man. Good
You got
job.
it. All right.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
The average social media user engages with more than 6 different platforms each month.
What?
True or false?
With 4?
6.
Six.
You have 6 different platforms.
True.
False.
It's true.
Okay,
Wow.
so tell me like what our platform. So Facebook's a platform.
Facebook,
Instagram, Snapchat,
Snapchat,
Twitter,
TikTok.
TikTok,
Yeah.
WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Oh,
that counts.
Yeah.
You start getting all that. Yeah, it's
YouTube. Does that count?
yeah,
YouTube,
YouTube
yeah.
is social media now.
We need Woof.
That's right. We need some woof.
What is Woof?
The
That's from The
Office.
Office.
Oh,
When
yeah.
he tried to
yeah,
come
yeah.
up with
Yeah.
one that just
I feel like
integrated
when
it
you're in a
all.
staff meeting
No.
with Steve Renna, you get woofed because he gets an email and then it buzzes on his phone
This
and then
is
his
so
watch
true.
goes off and his computer dings.
And he still has like a MySpace song ringtone.
he
does.
has a Samsung, so it's like he has different songs for everybody. who calls
I
him.
made a joke in the
He
8 o'clock
does?
service, but I
That's
didn't say it
funny.
again in the 9:30 and 11 when I was doing the pray for one at 1. And I was like, your iPhone. If you don't have iPhone, if
I heard
You said
it.
it, yeah.
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 The Android, that was great. It was a good joke.
But people were like, ooh. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh.
Burn.
That was, I guess, not good. So,
Some
Justin,
people took
I
it.
was just curious, and this is the time to confront you.
Okay, come on.
Your Truth Social account,
What?
your Truth Social account,
Truth?
social account is very interesting.
What?
You don't know what Truth? Oh, look, he's
I have
playing.
no idea.
You know what that is?
No.
You don't know what Truth Social is?
No.
I thought that was something with Twitter.
It's like the Trump, like
Oh,
anti.
I was like,
yeah,
what?
yeah, now I remembered.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, yeah. Oh, I was trying to play it
Because
off.
he was banned, right? And so that's
Yeah, he
the
got
one
banned
he made.
from
So he
Twitter
made his
before
own.
Elon
Yeah,
Musk.
that was his
it.
platform.
Yeah.
Didn't really take off, did it?
No, I don't
Okay.
think so.
I think
was-
he
there was
uses
another one,
it.
I'm sure in Niceville there's some deep red people really on it.
I'm sure.
is true.
Yeah.
Them and
man.
Matt Gates are reading stuff.
I was like, I have no idea what you're like. What did I sign up for something I don't remember?
What did I post?
All right, a couple more. So looking ahead, social media advertising spending is projected to decrease by 25% in 2029. True or false?
2029. Mm-hmm. Oh,
I'm gonna say true.
It's
I don't-
false.
I would say
Oh.
it's got to keep increasing. That's where everybody's spending their money. for
Yeah, it says
advertising now.
50% increase to exceed $345 billion.
That's crazy.
And they say the influencing age is like dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Apparently it's
Man,
not.
that's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
Yeah.
All right. So ages 18 through 24 spend 3 hours on social media a day.
Oh, I believe it's more.
Yeah, probably more.
Yeah, this is true. The average attention span of social media for a clip is 10.25 seconds.
I think that's
think-
high.
I think it's lower than that.
I would say 7.
Correct, 8.25%.
Okay, yeah, I would say that's you scroll so fast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people scroll so fast.
What is doom scrolling, by the way? I don't know.
You just keep
Yeah.
going. Yeah,
Why is it called
basically because it leads to
Yeah.
Because you're like stuck in a loop.
Yeah.
it
Doom and gloom.
Yeah, it leads to like literally like clinically like the feeling of doom. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it leads to like your life is meaningless.
you're
You'll never be
Yeah.
constant comparison. Like that's actually
I don't
like
even need Instagram. I just do that in my mind. I'm like,
yeah, I know, right?
Gosh, I need to go read
but
the
it's
Bible
like
right now.
It's like a cultural term, but it's actually like rooted in clinical studies about the feelings
How
of
it's
doom.
like altering your brain
Stop
chemistry.
the
Yeah.
scroll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're even making platforms where you sign up to learn little things so you don't do that. Like if we're starting to have to do that, it's
Like how China's TikTok is.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. Probably. Last but not least, true or false, posting a picture of your meal actually makes it taste better.
True.
That's funny.
Well, Emily, thank you again for everything
Thank
that you
you.
do for Church on Bayshore and at Church on Bayshore. We're so happy that you're here, and thanks for joining us today.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you have any questions about social media, you can contact Kelly or Emily at churchonbayshore.org.
You can email Emily all of your ideas.
Yes.
For social media.
She would love that.
I would love it.
So thanks for tuning in, guys, and we will see you next time.
Thanks for listening to Boggy Talk. We are so glad you joined in the conversation. Go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss a beat.